Welcome in to Fantasy Football Game Show, brought to you by the Better Sports Network. I'm here today with my good buddies Joey and Tim Wright, our FYF fam, and we got special guests today. Good friend of the show, best friend of the show, some might say. He's the creative director over at Roto Heat. He's always in the chat, and he loves to touch him some dinosaurs. Mr. Craig Reith, how you doing, Craig?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. And on that note, my shirt, if you can tell, that is Mr. DNA.
Yeah. Mr. DNA.
It is Jurassic June. They're deeming it because this, the 11th of June, is the 30th anniversary, if you want to feel old, of Jurassic Park coming out. And,
Only 11 years?
The 11th is the 30th anniversary.
Oh, 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
That, buddy.
It's beautiful, Joey.
Wow.
That was with the 20th anniversary set.
Yeah,
Is
time
that life
flies.
size?
Yes, that's how big dinosaurs actually were.
Wow, incredible. How you doing today, Tim?
Oh, I'm doing delightfully well. It's sunny out. I got a nice beard going. It's gonna be a great pool day tomorrow. I got beer. I got no complaints. No complaints.
Oh, I got a nice beard going. I like that as just an entry into a conversation. Well, we got some fun drafts for you today. We'll be drafting Dynasty Dream Teams and video game consoles. We got 2 drafts for you coming up. Before we get into that, we got some people in the chat. We got Albert in here, said, hello, everyone. Hello, Albert.
Albert.
And Jay in here saying, I know these drafts can be wreathless, often making the chat grimace in pain. I don't get it.
Jay. That was. I mean, I don't get it either.
Wreathless? Without
Most people
wreath?
say my last name is Ruth, so that's what he's
Yeah.
playing off of. I got
We
it,
would
Jay.
never.
All right.
We would never. And we got scammers in the chat said happy K-tape ad Friday FYF. I don't know what that means. That could have meant anything. I hope it wasn't offensive. We got Butts in here said, look at this crew.
Look at us.
Did Rick win when he was on? I know he was on just last week. And my memory is terrible.
I don't remember.
Oh, you're
Historian. FYF historian. Craig.
Yeah, I
Did Rick
look it
win?
up. I don't have them memorized yet. Do you know what game he played?
Yet. I love the yet in there. He played Fortune or Jeopardy. Or Pole Perception.
Unfortunately, those are the 2 that I have not gone through. So I've gone through the FanDuel account for the Fantasy Fortune, Fantasy Jeopardy. I haven't gone through the FYF account. So that will be coming. But he says he won, so I believe him.
You are insane, Craig, for doing that. We got Damon here said, hiya, dudes.
Hey,
Yeah,
you Dame.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Boys, how we feeling today? It is June 2nd, 2023.
Yeah, June the 2nd be with you, man. Am I
June
right?
2nd be with you.
June the 2nd be with you. Yeah. Feeling good.
Feeling good. All right. Well, let's probably get right into this draft. Let's see. We got before we get into this draft, make sure you're going and following Craig at Roto Heat Craig on Twitter. It's a fantastic follow. And if you don't find him there, you'll probably find him in the chat.
I do know, JL, that today is exactly 2 years for the anniversary of Tim and I winning team poll perception. So
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
the absolutely most electric moment of my life to date.
Worst day of my life. Just absolutely threw the game. If you didn't watch that a year ago, we had a ridiculous game of full perception where we did 4 teams of 2 and 1 stream. It was just chaos. And we were in the lead and going to the end, me and Mr. Rick Butts. And the poll was like, who would you rather hook up with? Venom or Thanos?
And Pennywise. It was 3.
And Pennywise the Clown. It was 3, yeah.
Am I the only one that immediately defaulted to Venom?
No, apparently everyone wanted Venom. You know?
Yeah, that tongue, man. The things.
Sick little
Tom,
birds.
Tom Hardy, dude. Like,
Yeah. Oh.
Thanos is like a purple Bruce Willis. He's like the most handsome out of the group.
He is the most handsome. I'll agree with that. But
Ridiculous. Anyway, today we got a draft for you all today. We're doing a Dynasty Dream Team draft. So each of us will be drafting our dream team of active players on our team. So it's going to work a little differently than a normal startup draft where you have maybe 12 teams. You're going to have to draft at least 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and then you'll have 1 flex spot Apart from that, the world's your oyster. Tim, you are gonna have the pick in this draft, followed by Craig, followed by me, and then Joey. Tim, you want to start us off?
So I think we talked about this a little bit before the stream started. I don't necessarily want to go off of what would be like the right answer. So I'm going to take this out soon because I know I'm going to spite draft later on, and I don't want it to come back to me for this pick. So my wide receiver, I'm taking Jalen Waddle. I want him on my team so badly. I know you could, obviously there's so many people that you'd rank above him and whatnot, but this is my dream team. I want him on my squad. So I'm taking him right out the gate.
Love it. Jalen Waddle right out the gate. So he's number one player, active player currently for you, Tim.
In this draft.
In
this specific draft. I mean, if I'm going for like a real draft that we're, actually going to play with,
of course, yeah, you wouldn't go Jalen Waddle. But just in terms of your favorite player in the NFL, is he number one?
He might be. He's up there. I mean, just the way the players on the Fins react to him, they say he's a bit of a prankster, which I love that energy. He's got the perfect penguin dance. I grew up loving penguins. I mean, and beyond that, he's just an incredible receiver, great athlete. I was stoked when they drafted him, and this past offseason, apparently he's gotten a little bit more weight on him. So I'm excited to see him this season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. That team has got to be top 3 most fun teams.
No, absolutely.
Baltimore might be up there now with them.
Yeah, true.
Greg, this puts you on the clock.
I am going off of positional scarcity in my mind, and he's also one of my just top favorite players in the NFL, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I'm taking Kyle Pitts right away. If I put a guy... imagining my perfect team is actually going to have a coach that's going to utilize him and not ignore him when he's on the field. So give me Kyle Pitts to basically function as another wide receiver out there.
Kyle Pitts. I like that pick.
I was thinking him too.
Oh, you might have gone him, Tim?
I was close. I didn't want to get sniped on Waddle with that turnaround. You or Joey would have taken him. And if not, like he wouldn't have been there. So I had to.
Would you have considered Pitts?
Would I've considered Pitts?
Yeah.
No, I've got a completely different strategy.
Playing it close to your vest, I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that puts me on the clock here. And I was hoping that Joey would say anything of more substance so I could think of my pick. But alas, he did not. So I got to fight the homerism here because everybody knows where I want to go with this. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Do it.
Where only some of you thought I was going to go, probably. What a weird pick. Why did I go with Lamar Jackson? Who knows? Joey, Mr. Aloof. Hopefully you'll say now more words for us to hear.
I'm going to say more words. I don't think this should be any surprise of who I'm going to take for my dream team. I'm going to take the most dreamy player in the NFL. That would be Dameon Pierce.
Of course.
Who is just heaven personified. And then for my next pick, I'm going to take someone that I really like their role this season coming up, and that's Ramondre Stevenson. I think there's really this is the first time that I can remember there's no clear-cut RB2 or RB3 in New England. It's just RB1 season. Ramondre Stevenson, let's go. That's my second pick.
That is a surprising pick. I would never have expected you to go Ramondre Stevenson there.
Sometimes I am just unpredictable.
I like it. How does
sometimes.
Craig and Tim, how do you guys feel about that Ramondre Stevenson pick here?
I love it because that means I have more options at my pick.
I love it when my opponents waste their pick.
If Joey's happy, that's what matters. It's his dream. We don't want to put down people's dreams here on the show.
True.
How do you feel about Ramondre Stevenson next year? Are you as bullish as Joey, as him taking over that, being that lead guy in New England and that being a value for fantasy?
Yeah, absolutely. He's the guy. And he showed flashes of just excellence last season. So, yeah, wheels up for him. He's going to be great value. I think people are going to forget about him. So, great pick.
All right. I think Joey accidentally deleted the draft board.
Yeah, that's my bad.
I
accidentally made a column and I was trying to delete it. But the great thing about the format that we're using is you can just hit that little refresh button and it should come back up.
Let's see.
Yeah. I hope it did.
No, it did not.
Joey, we mocked Joey's pick.
I'm so sorry.
Just deleted it.
All right. Let me figure this out for a second. Stall, Joey.
Stall. So, guys, I am really sorry that happened. I hope JL is able to recover. I've done this before, though, in the program that we use, and JL has always been able to recover it. So I have no questions that it's going to happen. It's going to be back up there. No problem. Let's say hi to the chat.
What's up, chat? I see Toronto Dave throwing in a nice little waddle penguin there. Love to see it.
Let's see. I'm going to put some.
Thank you, Ladarius. I appreciate the confidence you have in Kyle Pitts.
So Joey is an elite filibusterer. Thank you so much. Oh, Jay's asking me, do I have any plans tonight? This was all pre-planned. Yes, Jay and I at 9:30, Friday Night Mocks is back again. That's right. We're doing a Scott Fishbowl mock. And I've heard even rumors that the scoring will be released by this evening. I do not know if that's true. Scott teased it earlier today. And then a few people have kind of said, hey, I heard it's coming out. So keep your eyes out for that. Congratulations to all the people that got Scott Fishbowl invites today. That's always super fun.
All right. We got it back up. We did it.
Awesome.
We did it.
And I'm not going to touch anything else for the rest of the show.
For the rest of the year, Joey loses computer privileges. All right. Pulling this up. Here we go. All right. We're back. All right. Ramondre Stevenson was the last pick by Joey. And I am back on the clock here. And I am weak. I'm going Travis Etienne.
Yes. Let's go.
You let me do this. This is your guys' fault. Travis Etienne. I feel bad going running back here, especially because Joey already went 2 running backs. But yeah, Travis Etienne, elite running back for fantasy purposes. Probably wouldn't
Is
take
he
him.
though?
Yeah,
Is
he
he?
is. I do believe he is. He is talented. He is young. He is an elite pass catcher, which is highly valuable in fantasy. And he's proved that he's able to do it on a consistent, repeatable basis, which is really important for running backs. He's got the draft capital. There's a lot of arrows pointing up for Etienne. I'm also highly biased in this draft because this is a dream team and I want my guy. So Travis Etienne, let's go. Greg, you're on the clock.
Well, if I'm building a dream team, a team that I would like to dream about having as, let's say, the Dallas Cowboys for no particular reason, and I was building it out, I would take pick that Jerry probably would have if he had the option to. I'm going to go Bijan Robinson and just steal that from the Atlanta Falcons.
Going all Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I don't think that'll probably continue the rest of the way, but we'll see what Tim does. It's just an elite running back talent to pair with an elite tight end as far as talent. And then I think there's going to be enough people to figure out to get them the ball here. So
I like it. When I was thinking about my strategy coming into this draft, I was trying to think who would I put in that top running back 1 spot for Dynasty. And I think it's too early for Bijan, but I think he's kind of close to the conversation at this point. You got Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, CMC. Who's your guy? Each of your running back 1 for Dynasty?
It would be Bijan for me, with McCaffrey still a close second. Even though McCaffrey's got, was it this 6th year in the league coming up? I still think he's got another 5 years of production in him. So I would still take McCaffrey too, but Bijan's 1 for now.
What about you, Tim?
I'm leaning McCaffrey. I don't generally trust running backs I haven't seen in the NFL. Like, I know it's going to be fine, but Jay mentioned it as well. Breece is definitely up there. I hate the fact that he's in the AFC East because he's really, really good. So I would probably go McCaffrey, Breece, and then I'd start flirting with Bijan down there.
Oh, okay. McCaffrey, Breece, flirting with Bijan. What about you, Craig?
if I was not building a team just like, based on youth, which I normally try to do. If the cards fall other ways, I'll take an older team. But if I have any chance of contending now, I think you're going to have McCaffrey in that first spot because he's just proven it at the NFL level, and he's proven on a couple different teams now, and he still isn't that old. So it would probably be McCaffrey, Bijan. And I don't completely know why he's getting forgotten, but Jonathan Taylor's still up there too. I mean, his talent is elite. He's going to be, I think, in a better situation here. Players get banged up. Nearly every player gets banged up at some point here, and I think there's a little bit too much of that being held against him at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Jonathan Taylor seems like he's ripe for a bounce back this year. Anytime a top player burns somebody like that, it feels like they're just ripe for the rebound.
Yep, I agree.
Simon in the chat said, "Craig, help me. JL's locked me in his basement." You can't help him.
I have dialed 911, Simon. So hopefully they'll connect me to Texas or wherever.
They can't help you.
JL's not in Texas, but
no, I am not. That's just where they think I am.
He's got a really long basement.
Those tunnels, yeah.
Yeah, Elon must help me out. All right. Actually, we got J-Wall in the chat said King Craig, Pokemon Trainer of the Year.
J-Wall and I have Pokemon Go where we play with each other.
So. Oh, nice. Oh, I'd love to revisit 2017 sometime. Sorry, Craig. That was totally
download Pokemon Go and you can. It's that easy, JL. There's an app on your phone to go back in time.
That summer was wild.
Did you know
Pokemon Go summer?
Did you know that 2017 wasn't last year?
No, it seems like last year. Tim, you're on the clock.
So this is going to be just my fun draft, and this player gives me so much joy, and he's so good for the community. Give me Austin Eckler at that running back position. I know he's not going to last here for long for the dynasty purposes, but the man's got just an enthusiastic smile and a love for the fantasy game. So he's just somebody that I'd love to see on my all-time roster. Plus, I got him from JL for, who was it? Tevin Coleman.
Nobody wants to know about that, Tim. That's very boring to everybody.
How long ago was that, Tim?
Oh, I don't know.
It was the year before Tevin Coleman's contract was up in Atlanta, and I took the leap in logic that they'll resign him. He'll be the number one somewhere. Didn't turn out that way.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good one.
Turns out Austin Eckler was not just Melvin Gordon's backup.
Turns out.
You live, you learn.
Then right. I think for this one, I think for the time being, I hate having to deal with tight ends, so I'll go tight end here and give me another goofball on the best offense. Give me Kelsey. That's
Travis Kelsey.
Dang, he's got another couple years.
This feels like Jalen Waddle's welcome to the NFL party. Eckler and Kelsey are going to take him out and have the absolute best night of his life.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a blast.
Jalen Waddle, Austin Eckler, Travis Kelsey. It's a solid draft so far, Tim. Craig, you were back on the clock.
I'm going to continue down my route of Cowboys blasphemy, and I'm going Jalen Hurts, who I think you pair him up with a running back like Bijan, it would just be super fun, and he's proven he's capable of throwing the ball and just chucking it around to the receivers too, which is great for Kyle Pitts. So in terms of a fun, ideal team I can dream about, bring him over from the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts. I like it. That's a solid pick. I feel like that's a pick that, a couple of years ago, most people aren't making. It's cool to see Jalen Hurts is proving him wrong. You put that chip on his shoulder and he came out and he showed it. Craig, how much do you put that success on Jalen Hurts' talent versus the situation just being good for him there in Philadelphia?
I think it's twofold. You can have that chip on your shoulder and go to the wrong situation and not have it play out that way. Sort of that culture that they're building in Philadelphia. You can see it on the defensive side of the ball too with the Georgia players that they're just amassing, from that championship defense. They have that sort of winning culture they want to have there. And Jalen Hurts had all the talent in the world. I mean, we saw some of it at Alabama, and then I think where does he move to? Was it Oklahoma that he ended up going to after that?
Yep.
You know, he was productive in both spots there. He kept betting on himself, and it's completely paid off. But you still need a team and a front office to believe in you, and thankfully he found it there.
Yeah.
And you can't ask for a better person. The dude is just such a genuine guy on and off the field. Yep. What does he have, like 2 master's degrees now? He's just absolutely like a staple of the community already. Such a good guy. I was going to take him if he fell at all. I was going to take him. But yeah, I love that pick.
That's a solid pick. All right, I'm back on the clock. There are 2 tight ends that I am perfectly fine with, so I'm going to punt on that one. I'm going to punt on that position. I'm going to go Stephon Diggs here.
Nice.
Personal bias aside here, but with my history of Stephon Diggs, from a wide receiver technician standpoint, dude is probably one of the most talented wide receivers the NFL has seen. I don't think many people were expecting that, even though he was still pretty hyped since high school. He has continually gotten better each year, and I expect the next few years to be really solid for Stephon Diggs.
Awesome. I like that pick.
All right, Joe, you're up.
My next pick. So when I'm dreaming when it comes to fantasy football, I like to dream of championships. And someone that really helped me get to the promised land last year that I got late in drafts was Evan Ingram. So I'm going to take Evan Ingram as my tight end. Is the only tight end on the board that really works for me for the team I am really trying to assemble, a true dream team. So Evan Ingram would be my tight end. I love his options next year with Jacksonville and Doug Peterson offense. Happy to have Evan Ingram on my team.
Nice. That's a solid pick. Are you just picking Evan Ingram to pander to Simon and hopefully?
No. I have a clear strategy here. Clear strategy. This will be my dream team.
All guys with the letter E in their name.
I see what you're doing, Joey.
Thank you, Craig.
My
next pick, I am going to take this year's, in my opinion, the best rookie quarterback out of this draft class and landing spot, and that's Anthony Richardson with the Indianapolis Colts. If you've watched FYF since the draft, you know that I've just fallen in love with him. He's a Florida Gator, so I'm playing with my heart a little bit. But listen, we've seen guys like Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, these guys that have that rushing ability as well, really break out for fantasy and kind of be cheat codes. So I don't want to miss the boat on Anthony Richardson, so I'm taking him as my quarterback.
I debated taking him over Hurts, and I'm sort of glad I didn't at this point because I don't want to see you leave the stream, Joey.
Thank you. I would have flipped the table. So.
All right, Anthony Richardson, I'm back on the clock. I'm going to go with a player who I wasn't sure about when I bought into him, but I sure as hell took credit for it when it worked out. I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Pair him with Stephon Diggs, and we were going to have that outside covered. All right, Craig, you're back on the clock.
So this, to anyone that thinks that I'm just drafting players to try to win and all that, dude, whatever votes this gets thrown out to, this is where your belief of that gets completely thrown off the rails. You can probably guess, but for my wide receiver, I am taking Jamison Crowder. He is a guy that when I was playing in fantasy leagues, I was playing him back in 2015 Dynasty leagues. I got him for free all over the place. He showed up. He was just one of those great slot receivers for a while that you could plug and play and get some stats. He wasn't going to do anything amazing, but he had some really good years there in terms of number of receptions and yards that he got for what was expected out of him of a 5th-round pick coming out of Duke. And yes, it may have something to do with the fact that my son's name is Jameson and spelled exactly the same way as why I invested in him to begin with, but it worked out for me, so I'm sticking with it.
Hey, it's the same logic I used. I stand behind you, Craig. Retroactive justification.
That's right.
All right, Tim, you're back on the clock.
I honestly hadn't been thinking about this too much for the whole turn. So,
what were you thinking about?
I don't know.
Dogs.
They're dogs outside right now.
There are always dogs outside. That's always a true statement.
Gosh, that would be a terrifying situation where that wasn't true. Who do I want here? Gosh, this is dumb. I'm gonna take Jimmy Garoppolo.
Love it. That's my mom's dream team.
Why?
Mr. Handsome himself he's
Yeah.
got to be on the dream team. That's just what it is. The dreamiest man in the NFL is just a fact. Like,
Tim, I feel like you go out like with this crew, like it's an entourage, and you're just gonna crush.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, it's gonna be lights out.
Men galore.
Oh god. What is the next pick then? Shoot.
And you're back with luck. While you think of your next pick, we got Toronto Dave in the chat. Said shout out Coop, the Evan Ingram pick. That was Joey that made the Evan Ingram pick, actually.
Mm-hmm. Coop and I do. We look a lot alike, though. So I get it. Yeah.
And Rick Butt said, I really wish Craig would have taken Richardson. Been waiting for a table flip for years.
Well, 9:30 tonight. Guaranteed it's going to happen at least once. It's happened every week.
And Dave said I would have been very confused if it wasn't Crowder.
Is Deshaun Jackson still technically active, or is he retired?
I don't know, and I'm too lazy to look that one up.
I don't think he's retired.
Is he still? I think he was active this past season. I don't know.
On the Ravens last year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. He was.
Could have been.
All right. Well, if he's still around, I want Deshaun Jackson. I just love his energy from the Bucs days, and there's nothing better than watching your team just be down by so much, and it's like, well, I got Deshaun Jackson, and then all of a sudden he's got one catch for 75 yards and a touchdown. You're like, all right, I just won. That
by 30
is just exquisite. Yeah. And the fact that he got along with Fitzmagic so well is it's what dreams are made of. That's the kind of energy I need on the squad. So round it out.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Deshaun Jackson. I think it has this capitalized, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Craig, that means you're on the clock.
I'm probably going to need a ruling for the panel on if this is allowed. But the last thing here says flex, and it doesn't say specifically what kind of flex. So I'm going to pick Micah Parsons unless it gets completely vetoed. Whoa, it doesn't say it's an offensive player.
I won't veto it. So unless Simon or Joey or Tim vetoes it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're good.
If Simon vetoes it, I'll remove it. So if Simon, just tune in if you want to veto it. But yeah, right. I mean, he's just one of the best defenders in the NFL. He can do pretty much everything. He gets out there and coverage plays to guard against tight ends, some running backs. He's an amazing pass rusher, which he wasn't drafted for that or known for that in college. He can also get you tackles. He just plays all over the defense at 24 years old. I do love having him on my Cowboys. But I'm also concerned about Jerry screwing it up and him just leaving because Jerry's an idiot. So.
Right. If you don't already follow Craig is a IDP expert. And I'm curious, Craig, how did you feel about when your Cowboys drafted Micah Parsons? I'm sure you were already tracking Micah Parsons from his college days. How did you feel when that draft pick came in?
I was really surprised that he fell that far. I was thinking the Cowboys were going to get one of the cornerbacks, either Patrick Surtain Jr. or the second, or J.C. Horn, who both went right before him to the Broncos and then the Panthers. So the fact that he fell that far was amazing to me. And, Jerry, for everything that I say about him, he really generally has not screwed up the first round a whole lot lately. He's been taking offensive linemen that people are like, oh, why would you do that? But they pan out. Travis Frederick before he retired, Zach Martin. Zeke probably drafted too high, but he was great for the Cowboys for quite a few years there. He pretty good at nailing the first round picks. And Parsons just fit right into that defense and can do whatever they want for him. So I was excited about it and grown to love it even more.
Where do you put Dan Quinn in the defensive coordinator rankings? Like your personal defensive coordinator rankings?
I don't have defensive coordinator rankings.
Well, make them up right now, Craig.
He would be near the top, and he's one of those guys that I think he got a bad rep because of how things went during his head coaching career. There are some coaches that are just better coordinators because they're better at focusing on that one thing, whether offense, special teams, defense, whatever, knowing it and implementing their style. If they can just be left alone to do that. There's so many other responsibilities with being a head coach that I think you get lost. And I certainly wouldn't be able to do it. And I think there's plenty of people out there with aspirations that should get a shot And, I'm not saying that's the case with him, but that could be something too with Eric Bieniemy, why he's not getting that shot. It could be something going on in those interviews or things that people have said, there's rumors out there in the media about why he hasn't gotten that shot. So hopefully these guys that deserve shots end up getting it to see what they can do. And there's a lot that goes into your success or failure. But Dan Quinn is an amazing defensive coordinator, and I was super happy that they were smart enough to pay up to retain him at the Cowboys.
Yeah, it seems like Micah really vibes with him well as well. All right, I'm on the clock with my last pick here. I have to go tight end, and I'm going George Kittle.
Ooh,
I feel like he's just the perfect bow on this weird, eclectic mix team of people. And
it's a sexy team, though.
It's a sexy team, but the personalities they're different. But I think it's gonna work. I think they're gonna work. I think you're gonna get like the aloof, cool guy, Lamar Jackson vibe with the young, peppy, hype from Travis Etienne. Diggs kind of like veteran old guy at this point, but not quite, still like transitioning. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is just like, I don't know, that dude just seems seems philosophical all the time. So
is Lamar going to be grumpy with you that you didn't take his boy Mark Andrews? You're going to hold out over that or something, JL?
Maybe for a little bit, but George is going to get him to turn around real quickly. It's hard to be disappointed when George is the life of the party,
Yeah.
It's weird calling him George. All right, Joey.
All right, so we've got Tim with Deshaun Jackson. JL, you've got Stephon Diggs. Craig has Jamison Crowder. I need to take one of my all-time favorite fantasy players, and I'm going to take Mike Evans from my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Probably my favorite current Buck, 1,000 yards every season since he's been in the league, going into his 10th season. The happiest I've ever been on a Buccaneer draft night, not because I knew a whole lot about Mike Evans, but because they did not take Johnny Manziel. So Mike Evans, and that for me completes Damian, Ramondre, Evan, Anthony, and Mike to spell dream down the board. And that is my dream team. That was a fun exercise.
Nice. You did it.
Beautiful, Joey.
You spelled it correctly, Joey.
Is the J silent?
Jury.
It's your dream.
Dream.
Well, it's like Drew Holiday is JRUE, and it just goes into the D, so it works.
It's spelled dream, but there's a J in front of it. It's silent.
It's a silent J. It's like Django.
For no reason. All right, so that's going to round out this Dynasty Dream Team draft. Tim drafting Jalen Waddle, Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Deshaun Jackson. Craig with Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Hurts, Jamison Crowder, Micah Parsons. Me with Lamar Jackson, Travis Etienne, Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and George Kittle. And Joey with Damian Pierce, Ramondre Stevenson, Evan Ingram, Anthony Richardson, and Evan, Mikes.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Drea.
All right, we're going to move on to our video game console draft. It's time for the fun draft and the time where friendships are ruined. Hope you guys are ready. The draft order for this draft will be Craig, followed by Tim, followed by me, followed by Joey. Is that the same order?
No, I was drafted first last time.
No.
You were. So, okay. Random number generator. Just want to put Joey and I in the same spot. So, Craig, as you consider your first pick here, we got some comments here in the chat. Dame said, I wish Joey had accidentally reversed his top two picks. So it would have said Reed.
Almost.
The redeem
almost
team.
did that on Evan Ingram and Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
The redeem team. All right, Craig, you were on the clock with this first pick here.
So I have not played a ton of different consoles in my time. So I'm going to have to go with the first one that I ever bought, the first actual full console, hooked up to a TV in a house. I had to go with my own money at the end of high school, going into college and get for myself. And to date myself as to when in time that would be the PlayStation 2. So it's still one of the top selling consoles of all time, apparently, to the quick research that I did before this show. And it was just so cool. You could have it in a little case to stand it up on its end, so you could have it vertically, and a whole bunch of cool games that I still have, even though I don't have a PlayStation 2 anymore. I don't know why I kept the games in the basement here. So yeah, give me the PlayStation 2 for nostalgia, and then also just the awesome variety it had for games.
That's such a good pick. PlayStation 2 has to be like just objectively one of the most like relevant consoles. Just game wise, it feels like it had the most games.
Yeah, Tony Hawk. I remember playing all day. What a game!
Dang, what were some of your guys' favorite PS2 games?
There was like, was it NBA Street or something? It was NBA players where they.
Yeah, I think I played NBA Street.
But they had like Sasquatch you could play against and stuff on there too. So of course that would draw itself to me. There was a game called War of the Monsters where you were like King Kong fighting Godzilla going around destroying cities. So like just even weird offbeat stuff that of course was drawn to me. And then Madden, I loved playing Madden on PS2. So
my sister and I got really into Gauntlet, a game called Gauntlet. I think Gauntlet 2. You guys ever play that?
No, is that a above?
Yeah, the camera's kind of looking down. You're playing monsters and stuff.
I played Gauntlet on the Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, which is awful. But so I'm familiar with like the overhead stuff.
They had a Lord of the Rings game that was absolutely fantastic.
It was good.
Yeah, it was so good because it was kind of like the overhead thing, and all it was like, oh, who wants to be Gimli and just run around with a hammer and just like smack some knees, man. Like that was the best.
I'd be Legolas.
Yeah,
I feel like I would do that.
The three of them just running around. You just did Helm's Deep every single time. You're like, yeah, this is sick.
Yeah, every single time.
Grand Theft Auto on there, yeah. Those two.
Oh yeah, we on the morning show we talked a few times about the original Grand Theft Autos on PS1. I don't know if you all ever played those. It's like bird's eye view. Those are wild. Jay said NFL Street, fantastic game, and NFL Blitz.
Twisted Metal is awesome.
Twisted Metal. Jay said that game was awesome. Jay said GTA San Andreas. That was probably like the first GTA that like opened up my eyes to what you could do. Just riding around on a Harley anywhere. Blew my mind.
I just see little Jay. I was like, yeah, holding the controller like it too.
Have you bought your Harley at jail?
No, I have not.
You could do that now, just out in the world. It's really cool.
Yeah.
My mommy wouldn't like it. She said, too dangerous. All right, Tim, you're on the clock.
So I'm doing this one more as a snipe. I'm taking the Switch.
Taking
the Switch. It's a sweet console. Nintendo's not my number one out of all the consoles. They do have a lot of fun games, but yeah, give me the Switch just for, all the recent games that have come out just seem like they are a lot of fun. I haven't played many of them, but I really just didn't want this to be on JL's team. So
yeah, that's totally fair. That's a solid strategy. I'm not gonna lie. I play a lot of Switch. Switch is an excellent choice. I feel like they've taken a lot of like the great elements of all of the consoles before it and put that into the Switch. It's not perfect, but it's pretty solid.
Cool. It's cool being able to take it out and go wherever you want. And I take it out. We play on the projector, just play Smash wherever you want.
Watch TV.
It's a great console.
Yeah. Man, that is a solid pick. I don't know if I would have gone there first. And now I am on the clock and I have to choose.
It wouldn't have made it back to me. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, no, it definitely would not have made it back. Nintendo Switch. I'm going to go. There are two consoles I really want to go here, and I'm trying to play my league mates here. So Joey's going to have two picks before I go again.
Mm-hmm. One I think you won't take. One I think you might take.
Joey, you're like what, 50? You're like 30, 40, right?
40, yeah.
I'm just trying to do the math of when you were young. All right, I'm gonna go with the Xbox 360.
It's a classic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Xbox 360. That was probably one of my favorite. Like Xbox Live changed my life.
It's true.
That was mind blowing too. Grand Theft Auto, Xbox Live. Big moments for JL. Yeah, Xbox 360. I get the original Halos. I get all original Gears of War. I'm set. You won't see me again for 10 years.
Absolutely.
Right,
Red Ring of Death, just little quaint trick you have with it.
Yeah, those look like real flimsy headsets that came with the Xbox.
So I have like three clearly defined like eras of Joey Wright as a gamer. Joey Wright is a parent gamer, like playing with my kids. The Switch is now off the board. So I couldn't take that. So I'll take my first system that like I really fell in love with. I had a Nintendo, but I wasn't at that age yet where I was really grasping it. But when I got my Super Nintendo, man, I spent some time with that. Had a blast, like with the Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers. There was a game called Pilot Wings that I used to play the hell out of, where you do like skydive and parachute, and it was super fun.
That was it.
But yeah, it's pretty much it. You fly a plane,
jumping out of things that fly.
But like, yeah, just going to the Blockbuster Video used to hold video game tournaments, and I remember entering one and playing a Star Wars game. And my Super NES was like from 4th to like 7th grade. Street Fighter 2, I played a ton of Street Fighter 2 on that. I wasn't allowed to play Mortal Kombat, so I didn't play Mortal Kombat. And then I didn't play games for like probably 10 years. And then I got my PS3, which is probably where I spent the most time gaming in my life. Discovering Naughty Dog with the 3 Uncharted games and The Last of Us, which is my favorite game of all time. Jay gets it. Pilot Wings. Yeah, it's a great game. You can actually, if you have a Switch, you can go to the Super Nintendo store thingy they have, like the free one, and Pilot Wings is in there. So,
and like an emulator?
Yeah. Do you know, like on the Switch, you can download the Super Nintendo
old games? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, PS3, a ton of MLB The Show, Madden, of course. But yeah, PS3 would be my second choice.
Mr. Scammer said Halo Gregorian chants forever. Is that who sang it? Greg? What is Gregorian?
That's like the old monks chanting in a castle.
Oh,
the style of chanting.
Yeah.
Fighting on giant bridges.
Tim knows what I was singing. Good job, Tim.
And earlier, Rick Butson here came in and said Halo, and Jay bring up Modern Warfare on Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 2,
good.
Just the best.
Modern Warfare 2, yeah, that was the summer of Katy Perry's "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It" song. Played heavily on the radio that summer. Modern Warfare 2. All right, who's up next? Joey, you got your second pick.
I took the PS3 next.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was just you.
I had a whole little monologue.
I just didn't know if that was the pick or you were just talking about it.
No, sometimes I just talk. That's a good point. But no, Super Nintendo and PS3. Love them both.
PS3 is an excellent choice, and I have made mistakes. I have made mistakes. I have to choose between two things now, and I don't think either will come back to me. They're both Nintendo. I'm gonna go with the Game Boy Color.
Is that a console?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
I didn't know we were including handheld stuff.
You got a Switch.
The Switch is a console. You can plug it into the TV.
Handheld.
You can play. Yeah, that's why it's so awesome. It can do both. Game Boy Color is like a little.
All right, I'm willing to shift to my other choice if we want to make that distinction.
I mean, are we opening it up to handhelds?
I didn't think that there was a distinction there. I'm willing to change it if the group agrees.
No, I think handhelds are definitely consoles.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong in that.
Well, that would make your phone a console.
No, that's a phone. It goes phone, calculator, console.
I can play Modern Warfare 2 on this. What are we talking?
You can do
it's a handheld console. I think
Fine.
Someone said that in the chat, and I agree with that.
Fine.
Handheld console. All right, Game Boy Color it is. Tim, you are now on the clock.
You know what? I'm gonna take it back to one that I've never actually played myself. I'm gonna go with the Atari 2600, baby. Give me one of the OGs. It looks like a piece of like mid-century modern art, like that faux wood on the front. Mm-hmm. Give me that Pong. Give me that classic, baby.
Yeah. How much Pong have you played in your life, Tim?
I've played a lot of Pong.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you won?
Multiple kinds too.
What does that mean?
Beer pong is a kind of ping
that's
pong.
A different game. I thought there was like different versions of that game, and God, Tim, you just sent my brain down all these different paths of like, oh, do they have like theme packs of Pong? Is there DLC? All right, Atari 2600. That is a obscure and weird pick. But Craig, it's your turn.
Well, it's probably going to get weirder, Jay, the farther we go down here. So
yeah,
I'm going to take one that I never had, but I played a lot as a kid. The first one was Super Nintendo. Joey took that. My neighbors had that, and during winter and stuff, I'd go over and play. So the next one that they had that I played on was the N64, which was just awesome. That was my first Mario Kart experience. I don't know if that was the first Mario Kart game or not on there, but Mario 64. They had all sorts of crazy fun games to be on there, and that was my first real introduction to sort of the 3D world of gaming. So
that is an excellent pick. I kind of forgot it was on the board. Shoot.
I already had the Switch. I didn't want to take too many Nintendos in a row.
Next one, speaking about weird, we're going down to one that I never played before, but I'm going with the Magnavox Odyssey. It was the first commercially available console system, video game system available for people. And there were games out there like Paddle and Ball, volleyball, and all sorts of stuff that I've never actually even seen videos of. But since it's the first one out there that led to all these other beautiful games, I'm pretty happy getting that on my team as the grandfather of all of these.
Nice. I love this strategy you guys are taking of drafting these old relic ones out of in honor of them.
It's nice. You gotta.
Us 50-year-olds here on the show, they need to remember what
That's
they
right.
Helps us remember things. So,
All right, Tim, you're back on the clock.
I'm gonna stick with that trend, and I'm gonna go with the Sega Dreamcast, baby. Give me the Dreamcast. Give me a little Sonic. I'm surprised it made it past, but Craig is too smart and he went further back.
I might flip a table here, Rick Butts, if you're watching, because I feel like JL's gonna take what I want.
Oh, I might. But before I make my pick, we got some comments in the chat. Dave said, which color N64? That's a good question. I think I had gold.
Oh,
you're one of those fancy ones.
Fancy boy.
I think I got it at a yard sale.
I only ever saw the black one.
Yeah.
A black one. Black one's
gray. I've only ever seen a gray N64. That's so weird. Maybe it was black.
It just wears out and it turns gray.
Greg Butson here, coming to Tim's defense. It's not weird if you're older. 2600 is what I started gaming on. Nah, I respect it. Tim, you say you never played it?
No, never have. I've never even seen one in person.
They had a really cool clear. I don't know if you guys saw those. I Googled it. I remember seeing those, the clear ones. I never played one, like a clear purple or just completely see-through clear N64s. Those were awesome.
I have seen that.
I think I had a controller that was that style. Yeah. Jay said GoldenEye Turok. Ooh, that's a pull.
Whoa.
Wave Race. Solid games. And then Larry said GoldenEye and what is WCW? Revenge.
Joey really is going to flip a table here on JL.
WCW NW Revenge for the N64 is considered by most the greatest wrestling game of all time, to where it's still played today. Like emulators, like people still play it. It had a really great roster. The moves were really smooth. And the graphics didn't look bad, even by today's standards. So much, in fact, that the new AEW game patterned their entire thing off of this one game.
Nice.
So, do you have it pre-ordered, Joey?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm on the clock next. I'm going with the pick I was gonna maybe go with last round. I can't believe it fell to me. I thought Craig was gonna take this and complete the trifecta, but I'm going with the GameCube. Nintendo GameCube, excellent console. So weird. Why'd they make it a box?
I know.
It's just such weird choices, but it worked. It worked really well.
I feel like they started with the and then they're like, well, that's the shape we have to make now.
Yeah. They made a lot of choices, strong choices in that console. The little discs. Yeah. It was a lot of they went out there on that one. I respect it. I never actually owned one, but my friends did.
That was my first console that I bought myself. That one, I had to do so many chores. I had a jar full of cash, and it took so long, but I finally got it. And my first game I rented from Blockbuster was Pikmin, and I hated it.
Oh, no.
I couldn't get past one of the levels because I was too dumb.
All right, Joe, you're on the clock. Where are you going next?
Yeah, I'm excited. One of my favorite video game memories, when my buddy got a Wii for the original Wii for the first time, like Wii Sports. He had a projector and he had this huge wall in his apartment. He had the very top floor in his apartment of one of those big townhouse ones. So his wall was massive. So he put his projector here. We would play Mario Kart, play Wii Sports, and it was like life size. It was super, super fun. So I'm gonna go with the Wii there. And I'm struggling for this fourth pick, but there's something that's just been ringing in my head. As a kid in the mall, I go to the electronics boutique before there was GameStop, and they had this weird system there called the Neo Geo that was in between the Super Nintendo and the N64. It sold nothing, but the games were amazing. There were a lot of those I'm trying to remember, Double Dragon. Remember that game? No. But the graphics were really good on it, but the console sold nothing. But I remember they had the display, and for 2 months, my buddies and I would go play the Neo Geo.
Neo Geo.
Yeah, it was really expensive back then.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was there might have been that too, that whole feeling of something that we can't have at home.
How do you spell Neo Geo?
It's Neo and then a little dash and then GEO.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm back on the clock.
It feels screw my last picks. I know it.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel like the chat is not gonna like my picks. So I'm gonna pander, 100% pander. I'm going with the PlayStation 5.
Let's go.
Because it seems like people really like that one. I would like that one. PS5. Let's go. I want the modern games. I got some of my nostalgic classics here, but I want to make sure I could play the new guys. Mm-hmm. Tim, that puts you back on the clock.
Yeah, I was thinking PS5, and I can guarantee the pick that I'm going to take for my last one will make it. So I'll take the other new gen. I'll take the Xbox Series X. The graphics, the quality it's amazing how far we've come. I literally fly around on a freaking magic broom in Harry Potter. Again,
how is that?
It's a great game, dude. It's so cool. You just
Harry
go
Potter?
around.
It's a Harry Potter game.
It's Hogwarts Legacy. So it's not Harry. It sets place way before Harry Potter, but it is a sweet game. You fight trolls. You fight all sorts of wizards. It's really, really
Tim,
cool.
You directly caused me to lose $60 to $80. Just instantaneous.
It's worth it. It's so cool. It's like an open world RPG, except it's all magic themed. It's
my God! Stop talking, Tim.
It is sweet.
Do you get to ride the Hogwarts Express?
No, but you get to fly your broom around the entirety of Hogwarts, all of it. You get to go up to Hogsmeade. You have the map is gigantic.
Hagrid there?
No, it's hundreds of years before Harry Potter.
But he's not there?
No, he's not that old, dude.
Oh man,
is Johnny Depp there?
Yeah, he's always there.
Jack Sparrow. All right, Craig,
go away. Yeah.
Last two picks.
All right.
You're on the clock.
Yeah. First one didn't play a lot on, but in terms of the game catalog here, I'm going with the Sega Genesis.
Ooh, great pick.
So my daughter, who has never even seen one of these, but she loves Sonic, and Sonic games on there are awesome. There's that. There was a really hard Jurassic Park game. I think the first Jurassic Park game was on there. They had other stuff, like Echo the Dolphin that still lives out there in people's memories. So,
Altered Beast is what I remember from the Genesis.
Altered Beast, yep.
Yeah.
And as a complete side note to this video game thing, have you guys seen the movie Pixels? Because my kids love that with just the
Ryan
retro
Reynolds?
games.
Adam Sandler.
Where they sent something out into space in the 80s or whatever that aliens intercepted and thought it was war. So they turned these pixels into these centipede and all this stuff, these video game characters to come down and attack Earth and declare war on us. But they love seeing all the old video game characters show up. So
is this a documentary that you're talking about?
Yep.
It was. I think it was 10 years ago. Adam Sandler Saved the World with Peter Dinklage and
that's why you got
Kevin James was president. So whenever that was back then,
of course.
Oh my God!
Foreshadowing.
The president
before he became the Saints head coach.
Yeah, exactly. Tim knows. So thank
And
you.
then the real
did
president.
he have a segue in this one?
Of course he did. Don't ask stupid questions. Craig, what's your last pick?
And I'm going to go off the rails even farther here. We'll see if this is allowed, but there's a specific reason that I'm picking this. If you disallow jail, that's fine. But I'm going with the Commodore 64. It was a computer turned into a console system, but it is one of the best video games ever on it. It was Hover Buffer, and you're asking, what's Hover Buffer? That sounds dumb. Hover Buffer is where you get to steal someone's lawnmower.
Say it again.
Hover, it's Hover, and then new word, Bovver.
Nice.
You
Double
steal
Vs.
someone's lawnmower, and you cut your neighbor's grass while they chase you around trying to steal it back. And you can't run over the flower beds. You can't make the dog angry and all those ways to get in trouble. So for that reason alone, that epic video game, being a dad now that mows lawn is, time to myself. Give me the Commodore 64.
Love it. Commodore 64. Tim, that puts you on the clock for your last pick here.
Yeah, I want to pick the Tamagotchi. That was my actual pick. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll pick the Tamagotchi.
That's awesome.
Tamagotchi.
I was going between that and the PSP, but Tamagotchi clearly takes that one. So
I was a terrible parent to my pet.
Yeah, I think we all were. I'm pretty sure the default was Tamagotchi abuse.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on the clock for my last pick, and I'm gonna go with the gaming console that Tim mentioned. I'm gonna go with the PSP. I played way too much of that. That console was not at all good enough for how much I played it, but I did. That was time I spent. All right, Joey, what's your last pick?
Am I allowed to pick a console from the future so that our show really has a legacy?
Not.
Okay. I thought
unless it's one you've created that you're going to be releasing for FYF. I mean, hey.
Can you take the one from South Park? I couldn't find what it was called. It's like the Nintendo Game Sphere.
Oh man, Tim, that's such a good pick. I guess
you can, Joey. I was just playing with you. What's your future one?
My future is the PS7. When you're watching this show in the future, 3 years from now,
the
PS7 comes out. Because I hate to tell you guys, the PS6, horrible shelf life. The games were awful for it. It was just like replays of The Last of Us, which they've had on the last 7 PlayStations. So PS7, they finally have The Last of Us Part 3.
They have Half-Life 3.
I mean, as you guys are playing it, and then they bought Nintendo, so you've got the Legend of Zelda games on there now. So you're really enjoying your PS7. So yeah, it's PS7 for me.
You better hope they don't skip 7.
Yeah, they're gonna do a whole Xbox.
Well, they can now. You spoke it into existence.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for our video game console draft. Craig with PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, Magnavox Odyssey, and Sega Genesis, and then the Commodore 64. Tim with the Nintendo Switch, Atari 2600, Sega Dreamcast, Xbox Series X, and the Tamagotchi. I went with the Xbox 360, Game Boy Color, Nintendo GameCube, PS5, and the PSP. And Joey with the Super Nintendo, PS3, Wii, Neo Geo, and the much anticipated PlayStation 7.
Somebody was trying in this draft. JL.
What's really great about the PS7 is you can actually play your old VHS tapes in it. So I mean, it really does everything.
Wow.
It does it all.
Do you have a price tag for that yet, Joey?
It's actually $5. That's the other cool thing. It's very cheap console. Games though, games $1,400 a piece.
Wow.
Don't like that change.
Brave new model.
That's a great gig. I got you the system.
I can't say I agree with.
After 15 decades of games being consistently one price everywhere, it switches to $1,400.
Did is the new Tears of the Kingdom $70?
Yeah, I know they changed,
right?
It's a good game though.
I saw a dude fry a chicken and make a conveyor belt and watch the roasted chicken come out. Like, that's so cool.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a ton of fun, my friend.
Yeah, it's always fun to be on with you guys, and even just being in the chat is awesome. You guys have an amazing community here, and it's great to be able to see you guys every weekday and interact with you guys. So thanks again for everything you do and for having me on today.
Hey, it's all in the community. It's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that don't relate to that, are you guys ready for the weekend?
Oh, so it's my daughter's last day of school today, and I had her teacher tell her I'm going to kick her butt in Mario Party tonight. And apparently, my daughter had a meltdown in class.
Oh,
you know what? I didn't have to deal with it. So,
I mean, you got to play the head games early in Mario Party.
I know.
You got to. Well, if you aren't already, make sure you follow Craig at RotoHeat Craig on Twitter. Excellent follow. He's also just one of the greatest people in the community. So truly, I cannot stress this enough. Reach out, make a connection with Craig. He is just a great dude, a great friend. And if you enjoyed the show, check out the rest of the content here on Better Sports Network. Our boy Coop put out some content, NFL minicamp report. They got a Better Cast we got on Monday night, a bunch of other content going on over at Better Cast. We love them. So go over there, support their stuff, check out their content. We'll be back on Monday, every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. But until then, goodbye. We love you.
Happy weekend.
Oh, now I understand why Simon always does that thing where he says stuff before the outro.